As I've said on this channel many times, I am a big fan of Ford Motor Company, but boy oh boy do they have some serious problems right now. This latest issue is coming from Detroit themselves, from the Detroit Free Press, from one of the biggest publications in Detroit. I'm not making this up, but it's scary thinking about how this could affect the Ford Motor Company in the future, even in the immediate future. Hello, my friends. Welcome to the channel. I'm the Electric Viking. Great to see you here. My name is Sam Evans. I'm coming to you from Melbourne, Australia. Welcome. New subscribers to the channel, welcome back. Everyone else, thank you for your support. I appreciate your support, and make sure you check out some of the 1,300 videos we've created over the last 11 months, actually a bit less than 11 months. This channel started about 10 and a half months ago, and my main goal here was simply to educate people on the benefits of renewable energy, on the positives behind renewable energy, on the positives behind electric cars, on the positives behind really the reality that the world is in fact getting better and not getting worse as many people believe. I know it's become a kind of a religion for many people to think the world's going to hell in a handbasket, but fortunately, thanks to the efforts of a number of different people in the world and companies and organizations, things are actually getting a lot better than we realize. But at Ford, things are, well, yes, they're trying to build electric cars, but they are certainly struggling, as we know from their electric vehicle deliveries for the first 2 months of the year. In addition to that, their sales decreased 26% in the first quarter of this year versus the first quarter of last year, which is alarming for Ford because they need the profits from their internal combustion engine vehicles to fund their new electric car factories, the new battery factories, all those kinds of things, right? They need that. They've said they need that. This is not just my opinion. Ford are saying this. You know why Ford are saying this? Because they don't have a lot of ability to generate debt, at least not affordable debt anyway. So what's going on? Well, Ford are being faced with billions, and I mean billions of dollars in warranty claims, while at the same time needing billions to develop electric vehicles. And of course, they're going to have to write off billions of dollars worth of internal combustion engine production lines. So what have they done? Well, in order to try to deal with this situation, they've hired an expert, one expert, to slash costs, the Ford press has learned. They're basically trying to do what Elon Musk said Tesla had to do by using less toilet paper. I think people joked about that. I don't know if that was true at the time, but it might have been true. Let me know if that was true, if you worked at Tesla. If they did say, yeah, you got to use less toilet paper, I don't know. But probably, what was it, about 2 years ago? Elon Musk focused on cost cutting at the company. And obviously at the time, Tesla hadn't really made any real profit yet. And since then, well, we know what has happened. Their profit has continued to increase every single quarter. It's been a good move for Tesla to focus on cost cutting. Will it be a good move for Ford to focus on cost cutting? Absolutely. Definitely. I think this is a good move. Josh Halliburton, who brings nearly 2 decades of experience as a quality turnaround specialist, explained why he was hired, how he plans to make cuts, and how consumers will be directly affected. Yes, consumers will be affected by this. I was brought in to help lead massive improvements in our quality level, Halliburton said. I'm not adding words in here. This is what he said. Massive improvements in our quality level. Obviously, the perception at Ford is that's needed. Have you had a Ford? Do you agree or disagree? Personally, the only Ford I've ever owned was a Ford Focus Z-Tech, and I love that car, but it did have a fair few issues. Vehicle design, product development, engineering, manufacturing, consumer experience on the road, and with service after they own Ford trucks and SUVs is part of what they're focusing on. Dramatic improvement, they say, is critical to the future of Ford because it not only affects profits, but will keep customers essential to growth during the dynamic period of cutthroat competition that they see ahead. Ford CEO Jim Farley has consistently, during earnings calls since taking the helms in October 2020, said that warranty costs must come down. He's also said that they're about to fire a whole lot of people at Ford and they need a lot of software engineers because they're not good at that. Yeah, pretty tough situation to be in, right? More recently, Ford Blue President Kumar Galhotra reiterated the priority in terms of funding the Ford Model E mission to develop software and technology for future products. The company is known within the auto industry for having warranty costs higher than even General Motors, who have some pretty significantly high warranty costs themselves. These are costs the company pays to fix mistakes that may be the subject of recalls for safety reasons or otherwise recognized by the company as problems that merit repair by any reasonable standard. Now, Ford employees are well aware of this issue, and they've described a culture that reinforces finger pointing, your fault, your fault, your fault, rather than identifying and fixing problems. So, what are some of Ford's biggest problems? Well, let's just have a look recently. Back in January of last year, Ford spent $610 million to recall 3 million vehicles due to potential airbag issues. Now, Ford spent that money. That comes straight from the reliable news source known as CNBC. No, but seriously, this is actually true this time, unlike much of their garbage. In addition, the most recent recall from Ford, there's been numerous since then, by the way, was 737,000 vehicles recalled 2 days ago in the US over a part that could develop an oil leak and a software error that could hinder braking, it said. Now, obviously, if their cars were, say, more like Tesla vehicles, then that software could just be fixed with an over-the-air update. But unfortunately, they're not run like that, so they need to bring them all in to fix that software issue. And obviously, because they're internal combustion engines, they're prone to oil leaks. It's pretty common with internal combustion engine vehicles, as you know. Every car ends up getting an oil leak at some point in its life. However, what were the 5 biggest Ford recalls in company history? The first of those, 1972, Ford recalled 4.4 million vehicles, which was a current record, due to safety defects in shoulder harnesses. Now, Ford actually denied any injuries due to the safety issue, stating that no accident had been reported despite receiving 80 reports of shoulder harness failures right before they made that recall. Then in 2005, Ford recalled 4.5 million vehicles because of problems with cruise control that made a fire hazard. I don't know how the cruise control was able to make a fire hazard, but apparently it did. Then later on, in 2006 and 2007, Ford recalled a total of 10 million vehicles over those 2 years due to some faulty, leaky switches. Then, in 2009, Ford recalled an additional 4.5 million vehicles due to a faulty switch that was a fire hazard. Now, the switch only cost $21 to make, but Ford didn't act on that issue until 1,500 complaints and fires were caused in those cars, meaning they finally had to do something about it. In 1996, Ford had their biggest recall ever. Up to date of that time, they recalled 7.9 million vehicles at an astronomical cost to the company, following defects in their ignition switches. However, in 1981, Ford recalled 21 million vehicles, which is actually the largest recall in the automotive industry, period. Aside from the Takata airbag scandal, of course, which is not a automaker, but a parts manufacturer. Now, why was that recall initiated? Apparently, even after the gear in the car was shifted into parking mode, it would not engage. However, the vehicle's indicator light would show that the vehicle had been parked. By the time the recall was made, 98 people had lost their lives as a result of this fault, and 1,700 were injured through the 6,000 accidents caused by this fault. Now, getting back to the finger-pointing claims at Ford. I recently made a video saying that the culture at Ford was good. However, unfortunately, the reality turns out that was only one particular plant, one particular area, where apparently there is a good culture at Ford. Now, many Ford employees are claiming, as per the Detroit Free Press, that the culture at Ford, for the most part, is one of finger-pointing. You did this, not my fault, your fault, your fault, your fault. That's very much an observation I brought in early, Halliburton said. So this guy's come into the company within the last few weeks, and he's been tasked to assess Ford's culture. And he said, the employees are right. That's what's happening, finger pointing. We've got a history of spending a lot of time figuring out who is to blame. So is it a supply issue? Is it a manufacturing issue? Is it a design issue? I no longer care who caused the issue. It's not important in my metrics and not important in how I look at quality. He said, what I've told the team is that they are all responsible for the same target. Whether you're a supplier quality person, whether you're a product development person, or whether you're a manufacturing person, everyone is responsible. These people are required now to sit side by side and work together to sort out and attack these issues, Halliburton said, so they all succeed or they all fail together. That's really important because it speeds the time to start working on the issue. and they can't point fingers at each other. They're on the same team. Well, Halliburton, I'm sorry, my friend, this isn't true. Ford has just recently made the decision, which they clearly haven't told you about. They're dividing their company into two separate companies. It will be Ford Internal Combustion Engine Company, which will go extinct by the end of the decade, and Ford Electric, which will be paid for by the profits of Ford Internal Combustion Inc. over here. These guys will eventually lose their jobs. These guys will get paid by these guys to build new factories and will have good paying jobs in the future. Hopefully, that's the plan. If you don't agree with that, well, just read Jim Farley's comments. He has basically said what I just said. I'm paraphrasing him. So improving the culture at Ford based on that reality is going to be difficult. According to the Detroit Free Press, the company has had a pattern of warranty issues related to product development, engineering, and manufacturing flaws that have led to vehicle launch problems in recent years, as well as safety recalls required by federal regulators who assess a potential threat of death or injury. A quick snapshot reveals problems with these high-profile vehicles. 2020 Ford Explorer has had 12 recalls, 2020 Lincoln Aviator, 11 recalls, 2021 Mustang Mach-E, 4 recalls, 2021 Ford Bronco Sport, 7, 2021 Ford F-150, 9. Now, the interesting thing is here, we've got 3 2021 models, right? The Mustang Mach-E, the Ford Bronco Sport, and the Ford F-150. Now, the Ford Bronco Sport has been out for less time than the Mustang Mach-E, yet both the internal combustion engine vehicles, right, Ford Bronco Sport and the Ford F-150 have had significantly more recalls than the Mustang Mach-E, 4 versus 7 and 9, right? So we've got an average of 4 versus an average of 8 recalls for internal combustion engines. This should already show Ford, you know what, we're losing so much money on these recalls, seriously, let's just focus on electric vehicles, you know, even if it means we need some more loans. That's what I think they should do. The 2021 Ford F-150 has warnings for possible non-working windshield wipers, a drive shaft subject to failure, damaged steering gear, a non-working seatbelt, and faulty windshield bonding. When a consumer goes to the website hosted by the National Highway Traffic Safety Administration and searches for the 2021 F-150, an alert says, urgent, do not drive this vehicle. So for those of you in America, in 2021, if you have an F-150, the NHTSA says, urgent, do not drive your vehicle. That's a little bit alarming, I think, especially when you consider that was the world's top-selling pickup truck in 2021. In fact, it was America's best-selling vehicle for a 40th straight year. Now, there were already multiple recalls on 2022 models vehicles by March, including 3 for the Bronco Sport, 3 for the Maverick compact pickup truck, 2 for the Ford F-150, and 1 each for the Mustang Mach-E, Ford Explorer, Lincoln Aviator, and the Transit van. Halliburton has said he is committed to overhauling Ford's culture and expected to see some immediate results, but warned that product development is a multi-year process and significant changes will take a few years. And personally, I think he's got a really tough job ahead of him. I don't know how he's going to really be able to change the culture of a company the size of Ford. I mean, he's just one person. I realistically think they probably need 100 people working on this issue. Now, the article goes on to mention all these other reasons that Ford are struggling with cost controls. I won't even read them to you because there's so many of them. It's like a list upon a list upon a list. It's so long. Apparently, Ford is simply bleeding money through these cost issues, not only cost overruns, but also manufacturing defects and just a range of other issues. So why change things now? Well, numbers tell the story. Ford saw higher warranty claims in 2018 and 2019 than any time since 2003, at least, with 4.4 billion and 4.6 billion respectively, according to federal filings. So that means in 2019, Ford paid out $4.6 billion in warranty costs. That's just in America alone. Now, while things have apparently improved over the past 2 years for the company, they're still racking up huge costs seen as unforced errors. During the past 5 years, Ford has seen the highest warranty claims in more than a decade, while sales have gone down globally. Here are the numbers. Ford in 2017, $3.5 billion in warranty costs on 6.6 million cars sold. 2018, $4.4 billion in warranty costs on 6 million cars sold. 2019, $4.6 billion in warranty costs on 5.4 million cars sold. 2020, the warranty cost went down to around about $4 billion, but that was only on 4.2 million cars sold. So they sold more than 1.2 million less cars that year. 2021, 3.95, so around about 4 billion again that year, but on only 3.94 million cars sold. So in other words, Ford's sales are going down and their warranty claims are actually increasing. Now, obviously, warranty claims over those years do claim issues on previous cars and model years and models from that year. So we don't know the exact number of warranty claims from each particular model year. And here's an interesting point. Most warranty issues come from failure in product development discipline, said market analyst Joe Gabrielson. GM got better while Ford got worse over the past 10 years. GM has seen its warranty claims come in lower than Ford while selling more vehicles, according to its filings with the Securities and Exchange Commission, compiled by industry authority Warranty Week. However, the amount of money General Motors is spending on warranty claims per vehicle has actually significantly increased. If we look at 2017, they spent $3.12 billion on warranty claims on 9.6 million cars sold. However, in 2021, they spent $3.25 billion on only 6.3 million cars sold. In other words, warranty costs are actually increasing per car sold for both Ford and General Motors. So what the hell is going on? Industry analysts say they've watched warranty costs grow steadily at Ford, and Farley is the first chief executive to actually try to change this issue and to change established processes at the 19-year-old company. Now, many of you I've seen, many of you are fans and you've subscribed to Sandy Munro. And Sandy Munro criticizes Legacy Auto. He worked at Ford, criticizes their processes, and people say he's just a bitter old man. But I'm giving you the facts. He's not bitter. He's telling you logic. And if you don't like that, it's probably because you're a brand fan. And really, he's telling you something that doesn't really make you feel good. It wouldn't. I don't like hearing this stuff. I want Ford and GM to succeed. And hearing this stuff just makes me go, damn, maybe they're screwed. I don't know. John McElroy, a longtime industry observer and host of Autoline After Hours, said, warranty cost is the greatest profit opportunity that Ford has. If they could just get to GM's level, they'd free up a couple of $1 billion on their bottom line every single year. And the crazy thing is that GM is not even doing that well in this issue themselves. But if Ford can just get to GM's level, they'll make billions more money that they can pour into their electric cars. The question is, why are Ford's warranty costs so much higher than everybody else, he said. Not because suppliers sort out the bad parts and ship those to Ford. I think this gets back to the way that Ford conducts its purchasing policies. Same with instrument panel designers, he said. So what Ford has ended up with, in my opinion, is optimized components, but not an optimized system. System, yes, exactly. This is important. System, building a vehicle from the ground up to be a system. This is why the software is so important, so essential. And I think it's overlooked by a lot of people who don't understand the big difference between a new electric car company and between an old internal combustion engine vehicle company, which is essentially what Ford is right now. In addition, apparently Ford, with industry insiders, has a reputation for purchasing cheaper components to meet vehicle program cost targets, while companies such as Toyota and Honda may invest a little more upfront on high quality parts and save in the long run, McElroy said. I've got to say that may be true, but it has turned out that as a result, the technology in many Honda and Toyota vehicles is seen as absolutely obsolete in a number of countries. In particular in China, the Chinese are absolutely crucifying them, saying that Toyota and Honda vehicles have technology from 1995. I've heard that from numerous different people, social media, websites, actual media sites in China. So that's another issue. Sure, yes, Toyota and Honda may have better quality parts, but that's because they're using the same parts they used back in 1987. Okay, maybe not literally, but you get my point. Now, Carla Bailo, CEO of the Center for Automotive Research and Industry think tank, said Ford must better manage quality as illustrated by the company's problem launches. They haven't been silent about that, she said. There's obviously improvements needed in their design and development processes. Halliburton, this new quality manager, says that old ways don't lend themselves to working together to fix problems. The one thing I've been extremely impressed with is the amount of support I'm getting from the executive leadership team. That's critical to building a quality culture. Jim Farley pings me several times a week. So do most of his direct reports, all asking how they can support and how they can engage to make sure we have a culture focused around quality, Halliburton said. When you work with companies the size of Ford on fixing quality, it's an uphill battle. If the whole company is not aligned, it's really inefficient and it's a struggle to get momentum. Here, I see the momentum's in place. It's how harnessing that momentum to guide it down the right path actually works. Analyst Dan Levy of Credit Suisse said a new focus on cutting these costs is critical to it's critical to Ford not going bankrupt. Absolutely 100% critical. If they can't manage this properly, well, they're screwed. Warranty is one of the costs they have to lean on, a more efficient organization, which can then be used to better fund their electric vehicle division, he said. Now, in 2018 and 19, under then CEO Jim Hackett, some quarterly earnings presentations did not list warranty costs at Ford. Over the past 2 years, all quarterly earnings have included itemized dollar amounts for warranty costs. When top executives publicly discuss problems and how to address them, they earn trust from investors and customers, said Joe McCabe, CEO of Auto Forecast Solutions. Farley is getting in front of the issue. He's the captain of the ship. It's his job to take responsibility and say how he'll make it better, McCabe said. Anytime transparency is there, it improves the optics for Wall Street. And I agree. And I've wondered now for a long time, why is Ford's stock price so incredibly low? Why is their price to earnings, their PE, at 3 when the average across the entire stock exchange is 15? Why are they at 3? Doesn't make sense. Well, when you hear these kinds of reports, it makes a lot more sense. Let me know in the comment section below what you think. Will Ford survive this decade? Honestly, based on the reports I've been hearing lately from multiple sources, including the Detroit Free Press and others, it's going to be an uphill battle. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you again.